So I started going down the rabbit hole, so to speak, because I just kept getting all these downloads and so forth. And then fast forward, my parents, I'm so grateful for my parents because they were the all American parents. They were
intergalactic beings of multi-dimensional realities. Welcome to channeling. I'm so excited to welcome in my beautiful guest, Sharon Kuslaka, to welcome to channeling today. This is going to be a unique one as we talk about community and how we can really come together. And
I got the plan. I got the plan. It's super simple.
She's going to share it with us, and it's going to be amazing. And we invite everyone to just sit back, relax, listen in, and open your mind and your heart as to maybe some new ideas, new ways of looking at things, and maybe some new actions that you can take in your life today.
Because I love it.
That's what it's all about, is us seeing into new ways we can take action because we are creating our world. So
we are. I feel the new world is here, girl. No more negative energy. I'm like, I'm ready. Let's rock and roll.
Just to introduce Sharon really quickly, she is known as a inventor. She loves shooting out that word, which I think is great, and she has had some inventions that actually has helped her step forward in a new way because she doesn't have to worry about a lot of things right now, and she wants to really step out in community and help community succeed.
Yeah,
I guess you could say the
feeling. I'm showing the plan, the way, and no overthinking. It's so simple. It's crazy. So
it's so great. So she's stepping out with her voice. She is pulling forward this idea and this action of creating community thinking tank. Okay, so community thinking tank, this is what we're going to talk about today. I first want to talk about how I became connected to you really quickly so that
no coincidences. It's part of the big movie.
What kind of woman Sharon is. All right. I was on Facebook minding my own business. No, just like we all do. But my guides have been really hitting me strongly about going out and working with other people and doing ceremony with other people and sharing what I do. And I was on a specific site on Facebook about community, about consciousness, and I suddenly see this post, and it's like, I'm looking for sound healers to come together. I got a place. We're gonna have a great time. It's gonna be a
free for healers too. I'm like,
free. We want to offer this to community, and something in my mind went ding a ding a ding a ding.
Your guys are like, you need to reach out to the Sharon.
And a part of me was like nervous. I'm like, who am I to, and then they're like, just call her. And we had this conversation. I was like, okay, I'm just going to show up. I showed up and there was like 8 other sound. I pulled my twin in.
I love your sister. She's so sweet. I love the two of you. You definitely have earth angels, just so you know. I know.
Yeah, she's just my twin, and of course, sometimes this is what happens. It's like I see the thing, and I'm like, Grace, I'm doing this, and she's like, you're doing it with me, and I'm like, yeah, I know.
Oh, I love it.
So we jumped in and we showed up, and it was just such a beautiful experience. I met some beautiful people that I'm still connected to. We're creating beautiful sound experiences of healing and ceremony together. And of course, I continue to expand in that way. But Sharon showed up and it was just her brightness was so amazing.
Oh,
And
sorry.
I,
I'm
you know, I
grateful.
signed on as her friend, and I started hearing about the community thinking tank. And, you know, from the get-go, you were talking about it, you were jabbering about it. And I'm like, I get it. And all of my ideas came into this idea of my little self and my limitations and, you know, where I'm at. And the more I started listening to you, Sharon, the more I started seeing how really actually am so dedicated to building community. And
I
it's
love
really
it.
what I'm so invested in. And a part of that, me building community, is surrounding this channel, you know, this podcast, Welcome to Channeling. And it's really just helping give permission to people to say, I can be the depths of what I am. I can open to all that
Yeah.
I am. I can focus in on what I truly desire and bring it into the world, right?
Yeah. Love
So
it.
this is what it's about. And I do have a dedication, and it looks maybe a little bit different than me, but everyone is going to look a little bit different for, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you're
Mm-hmm.
here promoting this. You're here saying, look at how easy this can be.
And
So
it's free too. So,
yeah. So I want you to step in and talk about your inception of this idea, how it came to you, because we're
mm.
talking about
Oh,
Welcome
it's
to
big.
Channel, right?
Okay.
We're
How long do we
talking,
have? Are we going to be on for at least an hour?
you
Not
know,
that I'm going to talk for an hour. I just saying.
we generally is about an hour, but I'm like
Okay, good.
I'm asking for a 6 to 10 minute
Condense.
response.
Oh, yeah. Well, Miss Gwen, thank you so much for having me. I knew when we were talking on the phone, I already knew. I'm like, ooh, I like this girl. We got a connection. I'm inviting her. And I got swarmed by tons of people. Like I had to turn them away. I felt horrible. So I know it was supposed to happen. And when I met you and heard your angelic voice, I'm just like, you reminded me a lot of my mom. My mom was a singer.
Oh,
She
oh
sang in
man.
the church, and she always sang, and that's something I really, really miss. So thank you, and I
Yeah,
want to thank
Sharon,
Grace
I
as
have to
well.
say, it's so funny that, you know, I remind you of your mother. You remind me of my grandmother.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. I'm
Was
like,
she goofy?
she was goofy.
Badass too?
She was. She
I
was
love
really
it.
badass.
She
So,
sounds like my kind of lady. Oh, I love it. Well, thank you. So how this all started was basically, I mean, you can't make this stuff up. So, and so as I mentioned, I'm an inventor by trade. And long story short, I ended up getting in my products into the big box stores and so forth. And just, I finally realized it was just a pivotal moment in my life where I was just like, yeah, I know I'm going to make millions. But if I'm never home from my family and all those precious years are gone, what's the point of all this money when so so I got out, and during that time, it was just, you know, how we all kind of go through many little awakenings, and now we're in this great big awakening, and you look back and you're like, oh my gosh, it all makes sense. It was just gradual, so my brain wouldn't explode, you know? But what happened was, we lost my mom to breast cancer in
mm,
2008, October 2008, and that is a pivotal, like you can't make this stuff up. So anyhow, and I needed her the most. You know, I was not in a good marriage, struggling marriage, and you know, a mom of two young girls. And once that happened, you know, she was told a week before she was ready to retire that she had stage 3 breast cancer. And I'll never forget the phone call from my dad. It was like, I think everyone can relate. It's like getting a dagger just stuck in your chest that you just don't believe. So I started going down the rabbit hole, so to speak, because I just kept getting all these downloads and so forth. And then fast forward, my parents, I'm so grateful for my parents because they were the all American parents. They were so hardworking. They installed, the old school rules. And of course, back in the day, I'm like, I don't want to have to clean the toilets anymore. I'm tired of, but I'm thankful because kids nowadays, it's like they can't even be bothered. But I digress. So anyhow, it was really, really hard seeing my dad struggle because he was the sweetest man. And then fast forward to 2019, we lost him to dementia. And I don't know how to explain it, but when he was, it was May 18th, 2019, and I'll never forget, I'm sitting in bed with him in hospice. And what was keeping him running was he had a pacemaker, and that was like his body was ready to die, but it was so anyhow, long story short, I was holding his hands, and it felt like I had, when you touch an electric fence. Did you ever do that when you were a kid? I'm like, ooh, what was that? It was just like that.
I was so afraid of everything. I was such a ninny when I was little.
Really?
Why was I doing that stuff?
Oh my gosh, I was like playing with snakes and frogs. Oh yeah. Well, I digress. So anyhow, after losing my dad, my whole world crumbled. I feel like when people lose their parents too young, you're just like, you feel like an orphan. You know what I mean? And it just really sent me down the rabbit hole of asking, what the heck is this life all about? Like, we're all going to be working for someone else. And, most people on the weekend, they work all week and then they have a weekend off, and literally they have one day that they get all there. I'm like, that's not living. You get a couple hours. I'm like, something's messed up.
Yeah.
So I felt compelled one night, everyone in the house was sleeping. And this is actually back in New Hampshire. So I moved from New Hampshire, the live free or die state, here to Utah. And I've never moved out of state. So this was a big deal for me. And so back in New Hampshire, and I was just hearing, just watch a movie and relax. So I'm like, what kind of movie? I kind of want something lighthearted. And the movie, Oh God, popped in my head with John Denver. And I'm like, oh, that's a good one. And I want to encourage all your viewers to revisit that movie because there's so many decodes, and it's so great for the whole family. You don't have to be embarrassed like you do nowadays. I'll never forget, my girls were allowed to watch that movie on Wall Street or whatever, and they're like doing prostitutes. And like, oh my gosh, turn that off. That's awful. But I digress. So I was listening between the lines, and I'll never forget, there was one line in the movie where John Denver was in the shower and George Burns plays God. And like literally George Burns shows up in the shower, and John Denver's like, we need help, God. And I don't know what you want me to do. And he's like, what George Burns said to him, he said, that's why I gave you each other. So that stuck in my head for a long time. I'm like, that is just so spot on.
Wow.
And then after that, I felt compelled to listen to the Oh God 2, Book 2 movie, which I loved. Oh my gosh. And I want to encourage all the parents nowadays to watch it with your children. It's actually, there's a lot of things that are happening in the school systems right now that they were telling you in that movie. So anyhow, the storyline was about this girl. She was like middle school age. And oh my gosh, she had the same haircut as I did. Remember that Dorothy Hamill haircut, Bob? Ugh, anyhow, it's so funny. But it was funny. So George Burns, God, ended up talking to her. And he's like, kid, this world's a mess. He's like, you got to help me. And she's like, what do you want me to do? And they came up with the idea of making old school handmade signs. He's like, I need to get the word out to the kids.
Yeah.
And it was super cool because I love the movie because she was getting all the kids at school super excited talking about God and what God ever looks like for you, as long as it's love and light. You know what I mean? I feel like everyone has a little bit of a different, theory and so forth. But it was great. She's like, yeah, God and I talk all the time. And the kids are just like, what? And she's like, yeah. She goes, don't you talk to him? She's like, it's those voices in your head telling you should do good or bad and learn and all that. And they're like, wow, that's super cool and all that, So the kids were excited, and they're making these signs, and they came up with the tagline of Think God. And so like they were posting these signs all over town, at school, like on the buses. It was great. And then all of a sudden the school intercepted, and they talked to her mom, her parents, and she's like, we get a problem at school. And the parents are just like, well, what's the problem? And they're like, these kids, posting this stuff about God at school and all that. It's distracting people. And the parents are just like, it looks like the kids are actually participating in something that they're enjoying. Like we've never seen them this way. So then fast forward, they're like, well, and I'm not going to ruin the movie, but they said, well, we're going to have to send her to one of our psychologists to see if she's fit to be in school. And that resonated with me. I'm like, ooh, hold on there. That's not cool. It should be a free will thing. So between both of the movies, they really, really made an impression in my mind. So then fast forward, moved out here to Utah, and, we're literally in the Great Awakening, whether people realize it or not. We're all in different stages. And I wanted to bring the people together in a simple and easy way. And I feel like so many people overcomplicate things, but we're programmed to be overcomplicated so that we can't think for ourselves. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I was just I can't make this stuff up. You know how when like your guides and your angels come and they're like in your ear and you're like, yeah. Like literally all the time. They're just like, no, combine them both and come up with a plan to save the world that everyone can understand. And I know I don't have a big head, so that's why I was fighting this. I'm like, no.
Hey, you know what? The tagline is going to be, I can save the world. Okay.
You're funny.
Just for you.
You're cute. I'm gonna have to gematria that one. So anyhow, I thought of the idea of just everyone talks about helping each other, but literally I know there's a lot of humanitarian projects and so forth out there, but you really don't see a movement, you know what I mean, where everyone comes together. So I came up with it was just plugging away. And I came up with the concept of creating it's an inventive concept that's free to the world. It's not a business, which is great. And it's a tool to bring people together quickly, easily. And the whole concept is start listing the problems so people create their community thinking tanks. And they all start thinking of ideas of the people who are suffering, because Gwen, you can't make this stuff up. I'm on my 6th person that reached out to me recently saying that they're being evicted and that they're going to be homeless. And they have been working the same 40 hours, they don't have family and so forth. So they're on the streets, and people need to realize this is real, because the cost of living is up like 57%. So the value of the dollar is not buying people stuff. So, come on, people, think about it. How much more can you work? There's something wrong with the system. So I digress. So I just got thinking, I'm like, follow the signs and create a movement. So what I mean by that is literally all it takes is one person in every city and state around the world to start posting these signs, creating a free community thinking tank, and instantly invite their friends right out of the gate. And what I find is a lot of people that invite their friends, the turnaround is pretty big, because I think it catches their attention, because it's something different. You know what I mean? It's not like another home party or whatever. It's something different. So, and also what I love about the community thinking tank, it's a judgment-free zone. It's a place where we put politics aside and simply come together and start taking care of each other and start looking out for each other, because I know I'm not alone, where most people that live in their neighborhoods nowadays don't even really know their neighbors anymore, like how we grew up. Do you see that? Yeah. Like the kids don't even play outside. I'm like, I was playing outside from like after school till nighttime with my friends, and we're playing like Red Rover and tag and all. Nothing. It's because we're going digital. It's been going digital. So anyhow, I digress. So it's going to be a place where people can simply list the problems in the community, list the people that can't buy food for their homes, taking care of the little old lady down the road that everyone just passes by, our veterans, our homeless, our veterans that are homeless. Guys, does that even make sense? We got to take care of them. I get very passionate about this. But so that's how my wheels started turning. I'm like, it's simple. So anyone can go to the website communitythinkingtank.com. And there are quick, simple videos explaining the whole concept. And literally someone can be up and running within 10 minutes. That's it. And all they have to do is just invite all their people that can feel what's going on in this world. And that's how you start creating a community. But what I love is that people want to be heard nowadays. People have been silent, shadow banned, like, my opinion's smarter than yours, and you don't know what you're talking about. It's stupid. We all got played. Let's move on. And I want to encourage the viewers now, if you don't agree with someone's political post, just scroll on by, exactly how we've been programmed to do, because it's just continuing to keep that cesspool of yuck going on. Like, ugh. So it's basically everyone, they list the problems, they start plugging away and throwing their ideas in, and we all have life and job skills, whether people, I hear so many people like, I don't know what I could do. I'm like, can you type? Like, can you bake? Can you cook? Do you like to garden? Like, these are the things that people can lend their expertise on. So you list the problems, people do the old school way and they vote on it. And they start executing the plan. It's just like project management that you all do for corporate America, but in a simple way. So I love it. I get super excited. Even teenagers can open up to community thinking tanks, because this is going to be a platform where literally people can end up growing their audience, like-minded audience, like so quickly. They're going to be interviewing people on their ideas, what's going on in the community. I'm sorry, people, but newsflash, the news that you listen to literally can't list all the problems. You know your community better than the news, your government, and all that. You know who are struggling. So I love that. And honestly, once we get enough community thinking tanks, it's going to be a whole new platform for everyone, where I think people are realizing that probably 70% of the products in our homes are all from China. And I'm just going to say it.
And they're toxic too.
Yeah. Literally, everyone found out about the KitchenAid mixers. I'm like, oh my gosh, all their stuff is lead. Like, ew, who would do that? So I came up with an idea of, once we get enough groups going, we are going to promote the USA made products and services and start creating directories throughout the country and throughout the world, meaning in their countries and so forth. But there's going to be a kickback for people. So it's almost going to be like an MLM without all the yuck, where literally people can sign up for a 1099 form. And because that's how we're going to grow the communities back. We're going to support USA made products and services and be done with the big box stores, because they are the biggest, they are the cause of bringing in so much poisons and so forth. I hate to say it, guys, but because they ended up telling me, you need to get your products produced in China. It's almost like a rigged system, guys. I'm just being honest. I know my stuff. Yeah. So, but fast forward from the community thinking tank, and I love how the universe just aligns everything when your ears are open. And I feel like so many of your viewers now, Gwen, they get it. They're like, okay. I think it's important that people, this is a movie within a movie. I'm just saying.
I feel that. Yes.
Yep, me too. And what I think is amazing is literally, and I'd love to explain this towards the end after I talk about the community thinking tank, but literally, you know how we always hear that saying, like Kevin Bacon connecting the dots and everything's connected? Literally, everything is connected. And when you use gematria, numerology, it's all connected. And it'll blow your mind, and I'll be able to prove it to people that entertainment was created to show the big picture in the end throughout
Yeah.
all our generations. It's all been scripted, people. I know it sounds crazy. I felt the same way, but it's going to be beautiful in the end. Um, so when recently the attempted assassination happened on Trump, I think it really awakened the entire world. Whether you're on the left or the right, like things are out of control and things are getting scary. And all of a sudden, I'm hearing, and I knew a year ago, I have friends that I knew I was going to gather people at the International Peace Garden in Utah. And there's going to be some stuff that's going to blow your mind. What happened this past weekend. Just saying. But, and I knew it, I could feel it, because there are no coincidences. We've all found that a lot of landmarks and so forth have substantial meaning, but the common people don't know. Like they have plaques of Plato's quotes and Socrates and so forth, and they have monuments representing each country and so forth. But I could feel it, and I'm like, it's not time. It's not time. It's time now. And what I mean by that is, I thought I'm going to get a worldwide come together pep rally in every city and state, and people aren't going to overthink it. Where literally people are going to do their fun, kind, loving, come together type messages, because people are depressed. Would you not agree, Gwen? Like everyone's confused.
I think there's a lot that people are going through right now, and you talk about political sides being put down. I think overall, just in the world, we're being invited to let go of these polarity ideas of, there's an enemy, and
They're on both
someone,
sides. They're on both sides. Yeah.
and really come together in a spirit of wholeness.
Yes.
Because there's
Love
something
thy
that
neighbor.
everyone offers something. Everyone
Yeah.
does offer something.
And a lot of people don't feel that anymore. Isn't it sad?
Yeah. And I think a part of that is some of the separation that you talked about. I mean, I'd love to talk about that. Something that's really cool. I moved into this neighborhood that I'm in right now. I'm living with an older couple. And what was really great was I started walking around and I started seeing signs on a few of the corners. And what they said was like Monday night walkabout, or whatever. And so it was like this idea that Monday night, everyone in the community was going to get out and walk, and people could meet each other. And I saw
Right?
that,
I love
and I
that.
saw that, and I'm just like,
We need
that's
that.
good. That's
Yep.
good. It's this invitation, and it's this invitation for people to feel more a part of community, and for people to really
Yeah.
see each other rather than being afraid to knock on someone's door.
Like
There's this,
seriously, when we walk down the road and you see people like this and you can't even look people in the eye anymore, that's when you know there's a problem in society.
yeah, yeah.
I
And
love
I
that
know,
idea. Yeah.
yeah, I know. And I saw that. I'm like, I think Sharon would love that
Oh,
idea.
I do.
But people being able to offer things like that, even a sign
Yeah.
saying, Friday nights group, group listening or whatever, hosted in my house or whatever it is. Uh, People's just stepping forward in simple ways like that. That is
Yeah.
what can happen in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
It starts helping people to hear actually what the issues are, because your neighbor's going to say, oh, I saw the neighbor down the way, the reason they're having a tough time getting their lawn taken care of, this is happening in their home, and you didn't know about that. But
Exactly.
now everyone can come together, and they're hearing what's happening in the neighborhood. They're hearing what's occurring with other
Yeah.
people, and they're hearing what people can actually offer to each other in
Yeah.
beautiful, simple ways. So I'm feeling the
I
call right
love
now
it.
to just talk about that concept to each other, because I know everyone here, you're listening in, and you may have something that you're really invested in, some kind of a political idea. And I know we were talking about overcoming politics, but maybe you have a certain agenda that you see more than other things, and when you step out and you offer your real community around you to just simply talk, you can start seeing the other things and how we actually can support each other. It becomes less one dimensional, it becomes more really about the community. And
Absolutely.
so one thing that I was sitting with before I was preparing, asking you to come on, was I was in this really beautiful meditation of myself, and I actually imagined myself at the Peace Gardens at the rally. And I imagined I
Oh,
imagined myself there and what I would say to people. And I imagined myself leading people in this beautiful experience. And there is there's something that's been brought through my guide several years ago, a tool that I use, and it's called In My World.
I love it.
And it's a tool that we use to open, when we talk about, we're creating a world, we're manifesting. It's a way that we bring in almost this revelatory part to
A
that
peaceful
experience.
revolution.
Yeah. And it's a way that we do so from really the depths of what we are.
Yeah.
And so in that, I encourage anyone who wants to experience a few of these experiences, go to my channel and look up In My World, and you'll see a few of these ways that we can sit in ourselves. And if we just sit within ourselves now, taking a few deep breaths, many of us here may be really focused on the things that we think are wrong, the trouble. But I'm inviting you to take a breath, a deep breath in, and I want you to find the light within you. And the light within you has a vision of peace, has a vision of connection, and feels that vision of connection. I want you to feel into that light wherever it can be felt in you. It can be in your heart, can be in your creative center, wherever that is. Breathe and allow everything else to just fall aside. And I know our brains have a tendency, we tend to think of what's wrong, but we're inviting in the solution. And the solution is already here inside of you. A part of the solution is because we're a community. But I want you to ask within yourself now if there's a quality that feeling of a whole world where everyone is supported, what quality, what word of quality is coming to you? Maybe it's compassion. Maybe it's listening. Maybe it's openness. Maybe it's consideration. Whatever those qualities are, maybe one or two, I ask for you to bring it up and feel that quality inhabit all of your body. Feel it spread. Feel that vision spreading. And you're going to feel a lot of that doubt, a lot of that darkness just dispelling and just moving out, because you're allowing the space of your body to hold and be the space holding that experience of wholeness. You can sigh, if that feels good for you. Feel how this is in your body, the sensation of it, the contentment of it. I'm going to invite you now to talk about this quality and now what your world is like because of it being fully inhabited. So you might be thinking of compassion. So I can say, in my world, compassion reigns, and all are cared for and seen in love.
Mine's
And I'm
empathy.
feeling into that statement. Go ahead and say your own statement,
Yes.
whatever it is. Sharon, do you have a statement? I'd love to hear yours.
My heart is filled with empathy for people because
Empathy.
too many people are judged without knowing their situation, and that's going to change.
Cool.
Everyone's going to realize it's going to change.
So, Sharon, if Sharon could say, in my world, empathy is present, perhaps all are heard, and we move forward together. Perhaps that's the statement that comes through, Sharon.
Mm-hmm.
And you're feeding in and you're acknowledging the experience of this in your world. And perhaps you're even seeing what that
Mm-hmm.
means. It can look millions and billions in different ways at any moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're seeing something specific. And as you're doing that, you're just allowing yourself to recognize that quality. Recognize that quality showing up in your life, right?
Mm-hmm.
And furthering on this experience, what you can simply do is feeling this quality in your life. You can ask a couple of questions. The first question is, what can the old me, what is it ready to let go of for me to feel and experience this fully? Do we hear that? And it can be something simple. It can be like, I can let go of the idea that my neighbor is my enemy. That may be what comes to you. You're now open and you're hearing this from the sense of wholeness, not from your thinking mind, because that thinking mind can get in the way, right?
Mm-hmm.
So whatever it is that's starting to come through you, you might hear, it might be something simple like, I can put up a sign with a heart on it in my front window, right? Or whatever it is. So the first one is, what can I let go of or offer? Because you're offering this thing for this complete whole experience to occur, right? And then when you offer, that offering then helps create this world to be. And then what action can I take? What simple next step? We're not here carrying the world on our shoulders. We're here just asking for a simple step that we can take. It may be, like I said, I can put a sign in my window that has a heart in it. Or it may be, I'm going to go down and knock on the door of my neighbor and say hi for the first time. Whatever it is, those things, you can breathe in and say those things out loud and bring them into this world of what is now, right? In my world.
I
So,
love that.
so as you do that, this is something that you can do in your day, even if it's in the morning, just a simple asking, opening of what you desire your world to be experienced as. And those two simple questions, you're not taking on a lot. It's just one simple thing you get to lay down and one simple action that you get to do. And I promise you that as you lay down that action and as you take that one action that came through to you, you will feel the presence of that wholeness supporting you
Yeah.
because
I,
you're taking that action and investment in it. And you will feel that as you move forward. You may have a few experiences that may test you a little bit, but as you come back and you just say, what is it? What is the one simple thing that I can offer up? And what is one action that I may take? Those simple things can help you move forward in your personal life, but
I love
also
that.
if you're really connecting in community, because really at no other time can we see it more than now that we get to be together as community. When we're entering into this new world, we're rewriting all the old programs, we're rewriting the old systems, and the way we get to do it is we get to do it together. And
Yes,
we
we
get
do.
to
All of us.
stop shaming people for not wanting to live in those old systems
Mm-hmm.
because there are so many of us who don't want to. And we're just
Yeah.
trying to figure out how we can support each other so that we can live abundantly while stepping out of those old systems. So
It's so coming. It's see,
that's
that
been
was beautiful.
flowing through me. I wanted to make sure to be able to share that with people because people get into these thoughts of, yeah, we see the problems, we see what's going on, but can we feel the wholeness? Can
Yeah.
we feel that we can be in that crowd of that people on that pep rally, and we can feel each other as brothers and sisters? Can we feel each other as a community? And
Yes.
that each one of us has something to offer. Because
Yep.
if we can't
Every
do
one
that,
of you, you need to hear that.
yeah,
It's a
if
program. You are special. You matter.
yeah,
And you participating, it's just going to be beautiful. And knowing
yeah,
that you are perfect the way that you are.
yeah. And
It's
we
true.
grow to understand more of what we are as we
Yeah.
step forward. And we start saying, oh, okay, what I thought I was, I can lay that down for a second here. And I can see that, oh, I actually have potential in this as I step forward. Wow, I didn't know that about myself.
I love that you said that, because one thing I would really love to encourage your audience to think about is everyone that I know has some type of little insecurity or a
Mm,
hurt, a pain that they feel like no one understands. And I want you to think about how our movies and entertainment literally have shown people how to treat each other poorly, to judge, to that's where it starts. Because honestly, if entertainment was not created, and this is my theory, if entertainment was not created, everyone would be getting along, everyone would be helping each other, everyone would be helping, just like in the movies back in the day where everyone did act as a community and their communities worked beautifully, you know. So that's the take. So it's, I want your audience to know that it's not you. It's just something that has been pushed in all of our minds. So the bully, we all know a bully has been hurt and they're taking it out on you. You
yeah,
know what I mean? And it's that one experience that bully affects people's lives, or that you're not good enough, or, you know, you're ugly, or you have zits, or, you know, whatever it is. They
yeah,
learned it from entertainment. So we're going to be going away with that. And I love what you just said. You did a beautiful,
yeah. I
beautiful job.
appreciate that. You talk about this bully, and my heart kind of goes out to this little bully. I know this is a figurative person, but I've connected so deeply with, those kinds of actions, the crazy actions that we see in the world. They come from deep suffering. They
Yeah,
come from the experience of deep suffering and deep separateness, and really this feeling of being aloneness and having to survive and all of those things.
yeah,
But
it's sad.
as
It's
a
so sad.
community, if we come together, then we fill in the gaps, right?
Yeah.
We fill in those gaps, and people start going, oh my gosh, no,
I never
there
thought
is
of it like that.
someone there is someone here that will listen to me. Oh my God, I listened to that man because we were in the same sharing group, and for some reason that made sense to me suddenly.
Ding, ding, ding. Like little light bulbs are going to start going off with people on
Yeah,
perspective without being a judgmental
yeah,
perspective, right?
yeah, yeah,
I love that. And,
yeah,
you know, I love what you just said, because you triggered something in me for people to think about as well is, um, so it's that constant cycle of the bully, and then keep it inside because no one will understand, and it festers and it festers. I mean, and there's a lot of deep stuff out there that people, it's all different levels, and
yeah,
that's what we're all here for. We really are one family, and that got distorted over centuries and people don't realize it yet.
yeah.
And I love what you said.
I
That's
think
powerful.
more and more people are really getting a deep feeling of this and a deep sense of this, and of course I'm generally not a person that's just like, I'm going to focus on the bad. But I mean, there are times I get on my car and I start driving and I'm like, this is insane. What have we done to ourselves?
You're so cute. I love it.
you
You're
know
so
and
cute.
it's just like, and it's just always delightful too. I feel that, and then I approach a store or something, and I see someone so odd, and they open the door for me and they say, here you go. I mean, I may be
Yeah.
20 feet away and they're still opening the door for me, and I'm like, I
It's
feel
those
that.
little things. I love that I do that too. And I'm sure all of your viewers, they get those little things. And a lot of people have had been programmed and distorted to not recognize it's the little things, it's the simple
Yeah.
things that really matter. And people overcomplicate everything in life. And I have found personally, Gwen, and I feel like you understand this and your viewers will too, is that when you hit that rock bottom, it's like that saying, there's nothing but up. And I feel and I know that we already all have the tools within us. It's no different than going to a shrink, you know what I mean? And they'll be like, and you see it on TV all the time. They're showing you the tools. They're like, when did you start feeling that way? Oh, well, I was about this age. What was it that made you kind of do that? Oh, it's the time what that person said to me. And you know what I mean? It's literally, it's in our face, 155. That's one of my best gematria codes ever. That
Mhm.
once you recognize that, you start to go within, and no one knows ourselves better than ourselves and why we reacted certain ways, and then keeping it inside and pulling back those layers and be like, you know what? Why did I let that person get to me? Why did I
Yeah.
let them get in my space to not think that I'm good enough? Like,
Yeah.
and I mean, I think counselors are very
I
important.
love your attitude. I mean, if all of us could have that, it'd be that quick. My gosh, things would be really quick, But
Oh, girl,
I
trust
mean,
me.
isn't
Oh,
that a great way of looking at it, right? It's like, why did I let
yeah.
that person tell me that I was insufficient, or why did I believe
Yeah.
that, right? How
Oh,
could I believe
yeah.
that?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
well, there's always going to be a part of us that experienced this sense of this is one of my views, and this is how I view it, and everyone's going to have a little bit different view. Is
Mm-hmm.
For me, I feel like even the experience of just being born, along with it comes this experience of separation that we all
Yep.
have to resolve within us. It's the
Yep.
separation and this idea and feeling of separation of all that we are, and some people call it God,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it's like, and so a part of, I think, what we're doing here is saying there's a reason that we felt that separateness so that we could experience all this. But it's our choice to return to that again. It's
I
our
love it.
choice, and it's our ability to return to that again that we're playing with here, that we
Mm-hmm.
get to really realize. And I think it's so important. I mean, that's a part of all that I'm doing, is helping people to see that and say, we don't have to stay into those bottom things that we got to walk through, those
Yeah.
places that where we felt just so separate, so alone, not enough, whatever those are. And
Yeah.
we can honor that we felt that, but we also can see that we can choose into our wholeness again.
Yeah,
And
it's so
choosing into
real
unity
too. Some people
is
just,
one
you
of
said
the
it so beautifully. Some
yeah,
people just really need to hear things like what you just said for things to go ding, 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 ding in their head, like, oh my gosh, like we were saying, I never looked at it that way. And I
yeah,
love what you just said. And I'm gonna openly say this. And um, so on the out, like I definitely have my shit together. Like I like my heart is so big that I'll fight for love for other people. Does that make sense?
yes.
So what I learned, and I just wanted to touch base because it triggered something in my mind. How what I realized is, so I'm not going to go through a whole spiel, but I was brought up hardcore Catholic, and I remember sitting in there going, "We're all sinners. We're going to hell. She's pregnant in church, and she's sitting in church, and she's going to go to hell." And like I'm like, this makes no sense. Like what we chose. So get the corporate religion out of your head. I have realized that we decide, like they have taken things out of every scripture, and a lot of corporate churches openly admit it. And my point is they took all the important things out, and they took out that reincarnation is real, because it all connects with your speck of light. There's so many movies that explain it. That's why there are movies, so that when the time comes, people will be like, oh, it's in my face, 155. I mean, 165 is it's in your face. 155 is I told you so. But my point is really, it's people are going to be fascinated by this stuff. And I want to remind each and every one of your viewers, whether they're watching now or down the road, is that you are so badass. You chose to be here, right now.
Yeah.
And whatever struggles you're going through, just remember the big guy, creator source, however you want to put it, he knew that you could do it. You just have to get out of your own way and start peeling back the layers. And once you do, and you start filling those empty spots with gratitude that you're here and that holy shit balls, like this stuff is like, sorry. But I get a little passionate, but like when you think of the big picture about that, that's when people rise up and they're like, oh my gosh. And that person, I'm going to pray for them because they're not getting in my space anymore. And, and I'm going to openly say this because I feel like, you know what? It's okay to say it because I've been talked about behind my back my entire life. I have always wanted a sister, and I pray for her because ever since I was a little girl, and I'm going to be very raw and real and open. And I was really hoping I could touch base on some key points on the big pep rally after. But there's a point to this because I feel like when people share their stories, they don't feel alone. So my point is when I was a little girl, I already know because I was already tapped in at that age that someone hurt her really bad. And even though my parents were like the cleavers on the outside, kids do things when the parents aren't around. So every day of my life, she took it out on me. She's like, you're stupid. You're dumb. Nobody likes you. Like 6th grade, I ended up getting like my first D ever. And my mom's like, no, Kuslaka gets D's in this house. So I was like so upset. I had to go to Mrs. Duffy's down the road over the summer and do all that and blah, blah, blah. And then fast forward, I'm going to be very raw and real when I say this, guys. So you know what I went through, and there's a lot of other things. But my point is fast forward to high school. It's kind of the popular crowd, but I remember I treated everyone equally and with equal kindness and had fun because I knew what that pain was like for someone to treat you like a piece of shit. And so this will come out at the right time someday. And my attitude is when this gets into her face one day, the rules go for both ways. And what I mean, and I don't mean this in a mean way because I do pray for her. She doesn't understand what's going on. Mm-hmm. She's been living in part of a system that is all about money, and she does mean well. So I know there's good in her, and I have faith that she's going to learn. But this is what happened to me. So I was still a virgin in high school, and my sophomore year, and I didn't even know this till probably towards the end of my senior year. I was actually pretty quiet for a while, and then I found my voice, like junior year up. But one of the only friends that my sister had, we took some college classes together, and it really spoke loud to me, and I won't say her name, but she pulled me aside in class. So she was also friends with some of my friends. So she knew. Anyhow, she looked at me and she said, I want you to know that your sister is the one that spread the rumor about you that you slept with half of the football team. Meanwhile, I was still a virgin. I think I got stabbed in the heart. I just was in complete shock, like my own sister. Yeah. And what I mean by that is now when people are told things so much, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, you're dumb, you're stupid, or whatever, people start to believe it. So anyhow, fast forward in my adult life, we never really got along just because she just has so much toxicity and she's always fighting with everyone and picking fights and making her business someone else's business. I mean, I'm talking like she has ripped apart so many people but anyhow, my point is that I confronted this with her when my girls were really young. And this is when I pray for people like her is I confronted her and she says, yeah, I did say that. She goes, well, you ended up kind of getting a reputation of partying and all that down the road. So I don't feel so bad. And I sat back with that and I was like, wow. And what I realized is that so the people that feel so much pain and betrayal from people, friends and family and so forth is sit with that for a minute. Because what I learned is That it made me stronger. That made me realize how I did not want to treat others and how I was treated. It made me stronger. It made me more confident. And that's going to happen to your viewers eventually as well. And
Mm.
and again, I pray because the way, and you know what, Katie Dunn? There you go, because Katie Dunn goes by an alias name. I don't know if she stirred up too much traction out there, but, and I know it sounds like I may have a little, I've really let it go, but I feel like this is my opportunity when the time is right. It's going to come out at the right time and it's going to give her a reflection. And people are going to start viewing people that are the bullies. And they're going to start, and I know this sounds mean, but this is the process of all of us learning, is people are going to look at these people like, ooh, you did that? Like, you're not so great. You know what I mean? And it's going to make people start thinking about how to treat each other, how to mind your own business, and let each individuals go through our process. You know, does that make sense?
It does. My guides actually spoke really a lot about this recently, and I'm going to offer an interesting view on it because we all are going through a process, and sometimes sometimes it's not fun. Sometimes it doesn't feel fun, but ultimately
Yeah.
there's intelligence and there's something that we can gain from it. And I just went through a transmission. I just recorded it concerning really kind of this overarching view of really what we've done in life is we've handed over our power to others.
That's
And
right.
and there's a lot of the battles that we feel, a lot of the wars, a lot of thing is us trying to gain back a power, a sense of power. And all of this suffering, all this crazy stuff that's going on, it's all in this experience of us trying to figure this out, right?
Yeah. It's the
And
game of life. It's the big game. Like
it's
we are
big
here and
game.
we can make
It's
it
one.
happen. Yeah.
And so you know, every person's playing different roles for each other in that education, I guess you could
I
say.
was just going to say it's the learning process. It's the learning process of the game of life.
Yeah.
It
And
really, really is. It's that
and
simple.
and we get to play certain parts, and then we go and then we step back and we say, oh my God, I didn't realize I was playing the bully there, but I was. Oh gosh, I was taking out my
Yuck, yuck.
suffering.
Yeah.
I was taking my suffering out on this person. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I see myself that I wasn't owning this at this point, and I wasn't being able to be with my suffering. I was
Yeah.
wanting to feel comfort. I was wanting to feel this, and it wasn't supplied. You know,
Yeah.
we get to go through all of these processes of coming back into our ownership.
Yeah.
And and
Absolutely,
and
girlfriend.
and as we do so, we just to me it's a part of it's education isn't the right word, but it is part of it's
Yeah.
a re-education.
Homework. It's our homework. It's
We
our
just get to,
homework to do and dig and learn about our inner self. I love
yes.
it. I love it. And
So
thank you for allowing me to share that. You know,
yeah,
I know some people might be like, "Ooh, that's tacky," but you know what? I feel like this is a place for me to just let it out because when I look at it, as I mentioned, I was in a struggling marriage for a while, and even before we got married. And my point is when I got married 6 months after, I left him for a while. It seems like she didn't even remember that. You know what I mean? And she just didn't want to listen. And my mom was my person that understood and she stood up for me. And it's just those kind of things that people need to think about. You know what I mean? You cannot judge me without knowing and wanting to listen and to hear me and hear it here.
yeah,
Does that
yeah.
make
I
sense?
think
For everyone else, for everyone
yeah,
else. Don't be
yeah.
judging me. That's what I say.
Yeah, and I think when we hear these stories from each other, what we are is we're hearing the unique pain, the
Yeah.
unique suffering that people are going through. And I think one great thing that we're learning to do also is just offering the balm of connection, of honoring the person. And I guess right
Unity.
now, what I'm getting offered is saying, Sharon, I see that pain that you went through. I see that suffering
Thank you.
and you trying to rise from it and bring light. And I offer that part of your heart that felt mistreated and
Yeah.
unseen. to recognize your whole light and to
Thank you.
know that you you can step forward now knowing that
Oh yeah.
no judgment
Yep.
no judgment has ownership on you, and
Nope.
that you are free and you can walk forward. And
Thank you
that's
for that.
my love for you, and that's what I get to offer you,
I
and that
love
we can
you.
do that for each other. And I'm hoping that we can
Yes.
do that for each other, you
I
know?
send my love and light. Step
Yeah.
outside that box, girl, because it's magic. Don't you feel like it feels so good to literally hit that innerness of like, it's like a whole new perspective you were never taught in school, which they will be teaching this in the new school systems in due time. This is
Mhm.
the year of disclosure. And,
Oh, I pray so. So
oh, it is. It is.
I'm
I
gonna
got,
before we leave though, I just want to give you an opportunity to talk about this event coming up
mm-hmm.
and what you
Thank
see
you.
happening with it really quickly, so that because and I saved a spot in when I release for you, so this will come out really soon, so we're not it's not going to come out after the event. So
Uh-huh.
it's going to come out
Uh-huh.
really
Yeah, we
soon.
gotta tell the people soon. Gotta get the word
Yeah,
out, girlfriend. Yep.
so you can share, I can share, we can all share it, and just go ahead and tell us about that event,
Thank
and
you.
then
Thank
yeah,
you.
go ahead.
Thank you. Okay, so literally my visions were imagining thousands people. I want you to feel this.
Mhm.
Imagine holding out your camera and videotaping thousands of people in a park in a city near you, all over the world. We have that power, and it's so simple. So I'm excited because how can I put this? I have a simple plan. And like I said, we're actually looking for a panel in every state, 20 to 30 people that can put in 10, I'd say more like 12 to 15 hours in the next few months. So we chose Saturday, October 12th, out here at the International Peace Garden in Utah. But the beautiful thing is, anyone can do these. Anyone can do these, and it's free. We pay our tax money as long as there's no big bands and music and food vendors. It's a peaceful gathering. And what I love is the system. So this is the system one, is people don't have to start a community thinking tank to participate and get a rally going. I want to make that clear. So it's the worldwide come together pep rally. It's a pep talk. And what I love is the system of the people. You know, you can have volunteers and the panel, but there's a lot of perks to people that end up joining because, first off, they're making history, global history that's never happened before. And the reason why I came up with this concept also with the signs is so many of us have been silenced and so forth, where literally we can practice our freedom of speech with positivity signs and so forth in your local communities. And it gets right in front of the people without all of these distractions, and it can sit with someone. So the process is it's going to be on that date. The volunteers in the panel, literally, they put, this is what we did for the rescue dog yard sales. We did one of the biggest ones in the state of New Hampshire for years that I led with great volunteers. And teamwork makes the dream work. This isn't all on one person. I feel like so many people are like, I can't take on all that. No, I'm trying to show people how this will organically work. So the
Mhm.
process was you create your Facebook event, so you'll have all your details. We already have pre-made images, so people just have to put the location and the date and so forth. They pick the park that they feel and it's called to. And what we did was a month prior, we all took turns. Like literally, when you think about 15 hours from now until October 12th, if people don't have time to do that, this world is not going to change. We're looking for leaders. I'm not looking for followers or anything. I'm literally looking for the people that want to change this world, and they feel it within. So what we did is we posted that event. We all took turns, like every other month, I mean, every other day, and we all posted the event. And there's hundreds of events pages in your state, like Facebook, you've got Nextdoor and all these apps. So what the process was
Mhm.
is you post these every other day for the month prior to the event. And then what we're going to be doing is we're going to get people together and have fun for a couple hours in the park and make these beautiful signs. And we're going to start posting them around the park that you choose, wherever you choose. But we also encourage people, take a notebook with you and write down where those signs are, because I'm going to share something with you, how awesome. I'm going to make you all realize how awesome you are in working together. So you write down it, because we don't want to litter. And you want to put them on the really well-traveled roads. That's free advertising, guys. We can do this without high paid advertising, just by your signs. And I want to encourage you all to get your kids involved, grandparents, get your teenagers, parents, get everyone involved. It's an opportunity where people can get together and be creative and start talking about things without the political stuff. And my point is so post those. So between people posting signs all over the place and within the events, that's what built our huge rescue dog yard sale. We raised almost $50,000 with 2 fundraisers in 1 year. So that's how you do it. And that's how you make it. So what I'm trying to say is, don't overthink this process. So if you don't want to do the community thinking tank, that's great. But the rally is here. And what we're going to do is, we are going to be, Gwen and I and our panel and our volunteers, I'm recognizing everyone, and everyone at every rally, make a list of your volunteers so you can recognize them for taking that leap of faith and going, this sounds like fun. And we want people to, bring their family, bring their dogs, bring a picnic, bring your blanket, bring a chair, you know what I mean? And simply be. So I also want you to know is we're all going to go on at the same time. Guys, can you imagine the energy all over the world on one day where literally we can ignite Mother Earth? And this is scientifically proven that we can do that all in one day. And also what I want to share with you is that when you want to be the one to lead the pep rally in your city or state, the rest of the rally is for you. So I jotted down in some videos, some very quick, simple videos on communitythinkingtank.com about the rally. Some great ideas, like get people who want to volunteer, do face painting for kids. This is not like a make money, get some balloons, get some American flags, get some car markers, and get those kids busy and start writing positive messages on everyone's vehicles and so forth. But it's going to be a time where we all can prove to one another, we can actually do this. We can do this simply and come together on one day and put those differences aside. I love that. And I'm just about done. So, but what also the pep rally is all about for people that do start community thinking tanks is it's an opportunity after we're done getting our pep speech going for the whole world to hear. Literally, you do your thing and have a pre-sign, have people sign up and be like, don't overthink this process. If you only have 5 hours to donate per month, that's amazing. Because when you get hundreds of people in that group and they're signing up and they're like, holy moly, this is free. It's not a business. We can all be heard. We're going to come up with a system and you can start gardens for other people and expand on their properties and get people to volunteer to go. This is how you create a self-sustaining community. But my point is the rest of the show is yours. Do what you want. Get those pep talks out there and so forth. So you can find us.
I love this. I'm synthesizing. I'm feeling into this. And so I'm just imagining so many people coming together. They're making signs. And then there's tables or other people who are starting their own community thinking tank. Maybe there's someone who's an expert gardener and is saying, hey, I'll share my own to learn how to garden. I've got space in my yard. Let's do this together. Someone else who's good at something else, or someone who has a focus on something else. Maybe they're starting a community think tank. Maybe there's a specific neighborhood that needs some special attention.
Clean up, and helping the vets and homeless and exactly.
Whatever it is, and them being there, and then people saying, oh, I'm interested in that. Let me get involved. I'm just seeing this really beautiful opportunity where people can share. We can
do this. There's nothing holding us back.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just about to wrap it up for you, and I really appreciate these couple extra minutes because I know we've been on a long time, and we could just talk all day. But I want to run by a couple other little things. So you can find us on communitythinkingtank.com. I really want to encourage you, if this piques your interest, go listen to the quick videos, because after the attempted assassination, like I said, everyone on both sides are like, this is out of control. We got to come together. And that's how this came about. But I want to encourage you, check out the quick, simple videos on the pep rally. Also, if you are interested, again, you can do a pep rally without a community thinking tank. But I want to encourage you to check out the videos on how the community thinking tanks work. They're simple, straight to the point videos that spell it out for you. But I want to encourage people, especially healers, real quick. I want you to feel this message. This is I'm telling you right now, this is the year of disclosure. The truth is spilling out so fast. And my point is anyone that creates a community thinking tank, don't overthink this process. Someone's going to take that city and state. So if this resonates with you, start it. Because here's what I'm going to share with you. On the tab of the community thinking tank, there's one of part 1, part 2, and there's a part that also states, can teenagers and so forth join? Listen to that video, because we're giving you a brand new platform where once we do this pep rally, you're going to be the leader in your state. And then you can collaborate with other people all over the world. And this is what I love about the community thinking tank, is that there's going to end up being thousands and thousands, and people can find one in a city near them and know that it's judgment free. But my point is also is that you can create a whole community, and you can have other people in your group help you in this process. It's not going to be all on you. That's where the collaboration comes, and you can get sponsors. You can end up making money off of this and so forth. The possibilities are endless. So if you are sick and tired of corporate America, like, this is a brand new concept, an inventive concept that has never been done on this scale. Also, I've got just a couple more things and we can wrap it up. And so I know I've been saying that a lot, but I know it's valuable.
Yeah, I wanted to mention that I think, this idea of community sponsorship is actually really wonderful, because there are businesses in the community who want to feel like they're really adding something. They're helping provide something for the community, and this is one way that they can do that. Is saying, okay, I'm helping this community think tank, and they're really focused on helping keep the neighborhood clean. And if there's a family suffering, they're helping bring us awareness to that, so on and so forth.
Yeah. So, but real quick, a couple more quick things is, see, I'm getting people to think outside the box of what we've been programmed to do. So a lot of people feel like competition, like fellow healers and so forth, are competition, photographers and so forth, and whatever. Here's what I want you to expand your mind on is start adding people to the hub of the community thinking tank. Add those humanitarian projects, because what you're going to find is they're not going to be competition. They're actually going to be able to share with your local community how they've already been doing things, so you can learn from them. It's going to grow their cause, and it's going to grow the community thinking tanks all over the world. I like to use the comparison. I was part of a networking group back in New Hampshire, and we had over, I just passed it over to someone else. It was like over 6,000 members. I'm like, I can't do this. My focus is a community thinking tank. And I kept hearing from a lot of photographers, oh, well, I'm competing with her. And I'm like, no, girlfriend, get to know your fellow photographer, because guess what? Go within and feel who feels right, because when someone reaches out to you and you can't take them, you're going to want to pass them off to someone reputable. So it goes both ways, and that's how this all works. So add those humanitarian projects. And the last thing that I want to state is, any healers that this resonates with, jump, because I'm telling you, it is a fact that, see, everyone's been programmed through entertainment that, sound bowls and so forth. This is all based on science. And this should be taught in the schools, and they will be taught in the schools. And my point is you're going to be at the forefront of something big. So you're going to be able to grow your audience through being a leader and connecting with the other ones. And, people that have breath work experience and so forth, you can interview them, because people are slowly opening their minds to this, and they're realizing that we've all been lied to about certain things and so forth. And I just wanted to wrap that up. CommunityThinkingTank.com. We want to encourage you, join the private Community Thinking Tank group on Facebook, Telegram, and Truth Social. And we've also spelled out for you, when you want to start your Community Thinking Tank, right in the photo albums in that group on Facebook, you can grab all the images, description, and so forth, boom, 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 up and running in no time. And then we also have an area of a list of items, and you're going to love these ideas. So I want to encourage you, read them, because we already have a list of ideas of how to get going right out of the gates. People who love to bake and cook, start making those meals and freeze them, stock them up, so you can give them and feed the people and the children that are suffering, and our elders and our veterans and the homeless people and the gut. You're going to love those ideas. And the reason why we chose those platforms is, to be honest, I'm not going to have time to see where we've been silenced and so forth. And I feel that Telegram too. Did I say Telegram? Telegram, Truth Social. Okay. We will be getting on others. So I'm excited. Like, it's a whole new plan. And thank you for letting me get those last words in. I had to.
I'm feeling it's spreading. I can feel it spreading, and really, it's up to us to make it what it can be. Just be in the
conduits,
most whole depths of what you are. Because it's kind of interesting, because when we go forward and you step forward, we're the ones creating the new earth, and we get to be really aware of how we're engaging, what we're creating. And I think this is a way we can start, we can move forward, but we can adjust.
Yes. And can you imagine, Gwen, think about this. Can you imagine the people that see these signs, and a lot of people who are hesitant, and I want to encourage people to carpool, because it's only going to make the bond stronger. So we can save parking spots. But can you imagine all the people all over the world that took that leap of faith to join and listen and meet new people and like-minded people, that they join something that's going to make not just planet Earth history, like universal history, because all this stuff has been prophesized in every religion. They're all parables. And when you cross-reference with gematria, numerology, that I love to do, it all lines up, you guys. It all lines up. So I get excited for all those people who can feel it.
I am excited too.
Thank you.
I'm excited, and I'm feeling into just, usually I feel into when we're coming to a close, but I know some of this audience that's going to hear this is going to be a stretch for you. And I invite you, because my guides are asking me to channel something very special for you. Yeah. And as I communicate through my guides, I would say I consider channeling as really touching into my higher self and the connection that all that we are. And so there's nothing that I invite in that wants to take advantage of or anything else like that. I know that some people, this can be scary for them, but I'm just inviting this in, and my guides are in a tender heart. They're saying, yes, we do want to share something with you. So we're going to have some closing remarks from them really quickly before we go. And I'm going to sit back and take a little sip of my water here.
Goody gumdrops. I love it.
All right.
I love you, Gwen. And thank you so much for allowing me to share all this, because I said it's divine timing.
Yeah, so it's so funny. I know. I'm like, Sharon, I don't know if you know what you got yourself into, but here we go.
I do.
So I'm going to just step back, and I'm going to take 3 deep breaths. And I don't think this is going to be long, but I'm just going to feel into my center of light and invite in what the message is. Aho. This is a greeting that we offer. We offer this greeting in recognition of brotherhood and sisterhood beyond all races, beyond all identities of being masculine or feminine. We invite in this sincere offering of brotherhood and sisterhood, for we all are one here, and we acknowledge this system which this dear Sharon has connected in with. This is a system which is inviting people to open their hearts and then to hold out their hands to each other. It is this simple, just as she has spoken of. It is a simple and new way for people to understand the power that they are and the power that they are together as they open their hearts and they extend their hands to each other. For we all have 5-10 minutes within the day that we can do this for each other. And as we come together and we act in these ways, our lives then become this, and they become beautiful. They become a beautiful dance that we dance together, and the world becomes beautiful as well. We encourage you to overcome the strife that you are feeling in your life as you come together, believing that together we truly have the power to save the sense of the divine within us, to save the sense of humanity within us, and that we all have the abundance needed already here as we share with each other what we are and what we have. This is our blessing. This is our wish. And we see excitement and beauty as you all come together in love. We encourage you all to step forward beyond what you think your limitations are, because those limitations are simply showing you or giving you the opportunity to expand into the new you. We are excited to see you expand into the new you. And we send you all blessings, blessings in the name of the one who is watching over all. We say the word God. Some may say the word the Christed consciousness. We simply are here as one, and we exclaim this in oneness and in great love. Aho.
Oh, that was beautiful. I love
That was the
you.
message. I love
I
it.
love it. And I just want to say one last thing. You are a beautiful earth angel. I'm telling you, not just for the record, because I already, in my mind, I tell the universe, I'm like, record that. So you know that you can play it back so people know that this is really happening, kind of a thing. Your healing capabilities are going to keep growing off the charts, which they're already on fire more than the normal healer. Um, I as well have the gift. I am a watcher. I watch people. Have you picked that up on
I
me?
know you do.
I do. I do. But I would love to say to your audience, before I get really, really busy, and if any of what I say resonates, please reach out to me personally on Facebook, friend me. Especially if you're a connection with Gwen. I will be doing interviews to get the word out about this beautiful worldwide come together pep rally in a city near you. But also, I want to encourage you. If you know of any military and veteran causes, I would love for you to have them join our group because they're one of my number one focuses. And I think we all should. They fought so hard for us. And I'm looking to interview some of them. So if you have connections, please reach out to me, add them. Like I said, I'm going to be getting on some very, very big podcasts. I've got Scott McKay, Nino Rodriguez, a lot of big people that have like 500,000. So I'm just trying to tell you and put it out there. If you feel it, I'm going to be setting up daily interviews. So thank
Perfect,
you, Miss
everyone.
Gwen. I love
Thank
you.
you. Thank you so much, Sharon, for joining
Thank
me on
you.
channeling, and I'm going to be seeing you soon. Click the link below to receive your very own free soul play meditation, reboot, or soul song. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Welcome to Channeling. Till the next episode, own your stage and play on.
Hot Muffin Media.